Welcome to the 𝗘𝗃𝗵 podcast. My name is 𝗘𝗃𝗵𝗶. Today, we'll be talking about understanding legal status, green cards, employment authorization, and more. First, we'll going through, what does it mean by legal status of, for immigrants in first world countries. And, in today's podcast, we'll talk about the importance of understanding and navigating legal framework. The number one is green cards, an in-depth look. What is a green card? What is it meant for? Green card is like a status. It's like the second after citizenship. So there's levels to that, to this though. The green card, one is a 2-year green card and the other green card is 10 years. So, and I explained the concept. Now, you can do, the green card can do everything that people with citizenship can do. Aside from voting, you can't vote. You get me? You can't participate in their politics or anything if you have a green card. So, and eligibility criteria and application processes, to have a green card, the options are, don't be out of status. From there, you can migrate, either you marry somebody or work permit, or, somebody employs you and they file for you, to get that employment status. And what else? Or you can buy the green card from the United States government. Yes, they do that too. When I was in Texas, I heard about something from a man, and he said to buy a green card. When you buy it, you buy the 10 years from the United States government. At that time in 2015, it was $100,000. Right now, I think they said it's $2.5 million. So you can buy it, but you must not be out of status though. Once you get out of status, the only way to get back in status is to get married to the love of your life. So employment authorization. We'll talk about the role of employment authorization documents, types of work visas and permit available. Employment authorization is when you get married to somebody that is, a citizen of that country, of that first world country. The first thing you will get is the employment authorization. With that employment authorization, you can't travel outside of the country though. With a green card, you can travel outside of the country. But without employment authorization, you can use it to work, to get a driver's license, to open a bank account, to do anything you want. You can use an employment authorization to do anything that people with green card can. The difference is this. The green card expires in 2 years, or there are some that have 10 years. And the employment authorization expires, I think, every 12 months. So, if you use an employment authorization card that has 12 months time limit, the driver's license that will be given to you will also be time limit of that employment authorization. Now, there are different types. You can apply for a job and tell the person or the people that will employ you that, okay, I want you to, to file for me and sponsor my employment. So, they can do that. They can. And, they will take the money out of your paycheck. But most people don't want to do that because of the time. It is time consuming because it costs money too. I think it's like $6,000 from that employment authorization and upgrade into green card. And the second level from that green card into citizenship is like $15,000. So that's a lot of money. So I don't think there's any type, but the type of visas though, from your country, you can apply from your country to, you can find people on LinkedIn or Indeed or any employment job sites and apply. But you must be good though. Like I'm talking about, you have to be super, super good, for them to file for you and bring you from your home country into their first world country that, wow, this guy or this woman is very, very good. And we want these people. We want this person on our team. So, another thing is, let's see, asylum and refugee status. This is possible too, though. And, I'm talking about, to get a green card, to get employment authorization and those things. Let's say there is a death threat or something that, that is challenging your life in your home country, you can file for for asylum. If it's for real, yeah, I'm pretty sure they will take you. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. And then you have the refugee status. Now the downside is the refugee status doesn't go for too long, because I think you have to renew this every year or 2 years. I don't know much about this. And they will keep asking, to know how the threat in your country is and those things. Okay, it's like let's say after 5 years or after 10 years, you still don't want to be on that status of, asylum and refugee. Like someone is trying to kill me and those things. So the legal process is different. You get me? Like the employment authorization, I think is like 3 months. After 3 months, you get the employment authorization. The green card, though, I think is like 6 months. Because you go for interview and then you get your 2 years. And I think after 2 years, you go for another interview, then you get 10 years. Then after another 2 years or something, you go for citizenship. But the asylum, though, I think it's like 12 or 14 months. So another one I want to talk about is temporary protected status. This is the temporary protected status is you are under the protection of the government of your country. You get me? Either you there's something called the VAWA. The VAWA is, let's say you experience a danger by the citizen of that country, or you were involved in something that something that happened to you in that country. You can file for TPS and you'll be under the protection of that government. But the downside is this: it doesn't go for too long. Usually though, they will give you a 45 days a 45 days protection, and those 45 days is for them to do the investigation. So within those 45 days, people do wonders though. Like, people do wonders. So make sure you're not lying to get all these things. All these things are genuine, but we're just trying to educate ourselves on the legal status in each first world countries. So another one I want to talk about is citizenship pathways. So the pathway goes thus. The number one, you get married to somebody. They give you employment authorization. They give you a green card. You get a citizenship, just like that. The second one, you apply for a job, like let's say they give you employment authorization. From there, the job itself file for a green card for you, and the job itself file for your citizenship for you. So it will cost the job around $22,000 or $25,000 to do. So most people don't want to spend that money. Back in the day, people would get married, get a green card, join the military, and, get a citizenship at the end of the military service. Let's say after the basic training, it's also a pathway. And another citizenship pathway, it's the visa lottery. You can play visa lottery and, you might be fortunate though. You get me? So, and what else? Yes, another one is through the STEM program. As long as you're not out of status, if you go to school, like let's say you come to the United States for school, you can change your status. Like let's say you go to school and you study STEM. STEM is is a degree for engineering. If you study, a degree for engineering, you can change your status with this program. I would suggest you go to USCIS website. Go to their website and ask them and type in how to convert my STEM program to citizenship. I have a very, very curious mind to know all these things. I like to know what goes on around me. That's how I know all these things. So what else? Maintaining legal status. So you don't want to participate in crime because it can be revoked. They can take it back from you. So, even if you have a green card, a 10-year, like it's possible they take it back and they deport you. Even if you have a citizenship, they can still take it back from you if you participate in crime or you participate in violence or something that is just like, seriously, why would you do this? You get me? So you want to be of good behavior. You don't want to act like, even when you get your citizenship, you need to have this at the back of your mind. you're still not one of them. You're not one of them though. So humble yourself, apply humility, and don't fight with the police officers. You see some people come into the into all these first world countries, and they go head to head and have fights with their police officers. Don't do that, man. They will make an example out of you. So updates on immigration policies. I would suggest, if you want to know anything about the immigration policies, you use their website, the USCIS, for updates, or you go to Google and you type immigration reforms or immigration news. So what else? Legal resources and support services. You use USCIS. So challenges and common issues, and one of the common challenges faced by immigrants is stability, because you're coming from a different from your homeland with a different cultural mind frame. You're coming into a very, very different economy. That is, I'm talking about, this is a developed economy. You get me? Like, they have their ways of doing things. They have their own ways of doing things. So it's usually hard. And another thing I want to say is this: most immigrants that come to first world countries, one of the challenges they face is they want to be successful all of a sudden. Like, they just want to have everything. I'm talking about the cars, the house. But you will have those things. You'll have those things. It's just going to take it's going to take a while. It's going to take a while though. And another challenge is, when you file some paperwork, it might take some time before the result comes out. You need to learn how to exercise patience. Most immigrants don't have patience. They want that result immediately, and they want it now. Like, take for example, when you have employment authorization, you can't travel outside of the United States. But when you have a green card, you can travel. You can go anywhere and come back anytime you want. You get me? As a matter of fact, you can decide you don't want to live in the United States anymore, and you come back before 6 months, because they will tell you you can't stay outside for, I think they said, more than 120 days. So those are the small challenges I can come up with right now. So another one I want to talk about is family-based immigration. Like, it's possible for, let's say, a family member of yours filed for you, and they bring you to the United States. Or let's say a visa lottery and family-based immigration, or like let's say you won a visa lottery or something, and you and your family have to come into the United States. I think I explained all this already, but let me go through it again. All the family members have to come in. There are challenges that are attached to this though. There's a lot of challenge attached to this though, because now let's say the man of the house will be the one that will go out to go work all the time, and the wife and the kids stay at home. And when I say home, because you guys are fresh here, it's not like you have your home place. You're probably living with some family members or some friends, and majority of the time though, those people will disrespect you badly. Like people are nice. People are very, very nice until you move in with them. You get what I'm saying? And you can't blame them. You will understand. Who wants to work 12, 16 hours every day and come home to see some group of people just eating the food I'm working for? You get me? So don't take it too personal. So the family-based immigration is possible. Like, you and your family migrate to this first world country, and this is one way that you can do it. I would suggest you look into it. If you want to migrate to another, to a first world country, I would suggest you look into the family-based immigration. The other one is employer-sponsored immigration. This is when you apply for a job, let's say through Indeed or through LinkedIn, and your resume is amazing, and they're like, where do you live? You say, okay, I live in so country. Wow, I want you here. Have you traveled outside? Okay, go get a passport. I want you here. You get me? So it is the employer's responsibility to sponsor you. I mentioned something earlier though, that in the United States, for example, if they want to file for you to get a green card, I think it's like $6,000. You get me? It's like $6,000. If they want to file for a citizenship for you, it's like $15,000. So most of these employers, they will they'll file for that green card. You get me? And towards the end of your whatever, they will fire you or something and say, okay, I don't want to pay 15,000, because at the end of the day, it's like they have to pay close to 25,000, if that makes sense, or more, because because it's possible you sue them, and people don't want to lose money. Another one is student visas and educational opportunities. Back in the day, though, a long time ago, back then when I was living in Oklahoma, students who came from outside of the United States, there's this thing called the Marvin, I think the Marvin or Marvin program or something, where after school, rather than go back to their home country, they have the opportunity. I'm talking about 2012, 2013, 2014. They have the opportunity to join the United States Army, and that is the one of the fastest way for them to become citizenship. To become citizens of that country. So, with a student visa, well, it's possible for you to apply to a job, and your employer will sponsor your green card and an upgrade. So another one is legal rights and protection. There are levels to this, though. Either asylum or what else? Either you are a developer, like you're a software developer, you're a businessman, if you can afford these things, the United States government sells all these things. I have to be frank with you. They won't just advertise it that, okay, yeah, we sell this. It's just that the price is ridiculous. Right now it's like 2.5 million if you want to buy a 10-year green card from the United States government, though. But you can't be out of status. Let's say you have to be outside of the United States. And it's not like you pay them 2.5 and they give you a green card. You pay that 2.5 to invest into something in that economy. You get me? And you take that paperwork to them and say, okay, so it might take a while. I don't know. Let's say 6 months or 1 year. I don't know. Or 2 years. I don't know. So another thing I want to talk about is dealing with immigration authorities. Like, they have the power, man. You get me? If you are not out of status, you're free. If you're out of status and you're listening to me right now, you don't want to travel anyhow and just like you don't want to move around, like, you get me? Like, just because you have a valid international passport and you're out of status, you have to be extremely careful, though. You have to be extremely, extremely careful. Tread carefully. Don't fight with nobody. Don't participate in crime. Don't do drugs. Don't do scam. Don't do, you get me? And just, work your strategies with your lawyers. I'm pretty sure you'll be fine. Another thing I want to say is avoiding immigration scams. This is one that goes around a lot. And, once they pinpoint and they put their eyes on you and say, okay, this person participates in this, bro, there's a very, very big chance they won't let you get a green card. You get me? So be very, very careful. Be very, very careful out there. And don't try to break their rules and their regulations. That is all I would say. Don't break their rules and their regulations. Don't break their rules and their regulations. Just apply humility and understand that it is a privilege that they allow you into their country, though. They could easily be like, most countries that do not allow foreigners to come into their country. So another thing is community support and advocacy. If you're going through, like, let's say you need to understand to accomplish something great, to have stability in a country you've never lived before, you have to be strategic. One is to have a lawyer, and one is to pay that lawyer to do the work for you. But another thing is to have community support. You get me? I'm talking about people that are not necessarily, that you guys are not necessarily from the same ethnicity background. You get me? Like, you guys can, they can guide you and support you and tell you, okay, how about we try this? Okay, how about we try that? You get me? So, impact of legal status on employment. I take for example, though, if you have an employment authorization and let's say you have a job that is paying you well if they deny your next renewal employment authorization paperwork, you lose that job. You get me? You lose that job. So, it's one of the impact of legal status on employment, because you lose your job. So I am a very, very big fan, because I have friends that have went through this, and I'll tell them that, bro, because I like to plan things ahead. You need to plan things ahead, my man. Plan things ahead and prepare. I want you to prepare for the worst or expect the best, bro. It's going to save you, man. It's going to save you. You don't want to put your eggs in one basket. Don't be that kind of person, though. You get me? And another thing I want to say is planning for the future. The world is becoming a compound village. If you're fortunate enough to have employment authorization, even with a green card, I've met people that have a green card, and when it's time for the citizenship, it was denied. You get me? Either because they participated in some fraud activities or something. I want you to think outside of the box. When you start making money in these first world countries and you're still trying to get citizenship, I want you to have a backup plan. There are so many countries in the world you can buy their citizenship. $40,000, $60,000. I know it sounds like a lot of money, but we're talking about stability. You get me? These are you need to have strategic planning for a secure and stable future, man. Whichever way though. And even if you have a full-time job, make sure you have a business on the side, something you are running, just in case you lose that job, or just in case your immigration status declines. Make sure you have a business on the side, something that you can build every now and then. Either it's affiliation marketing, either e-commerce, maybe you're selling something online. You never can tell, man. You never can tell. Something that brings in money, so that way your life is not being depreciated. Let's say you live in one massive house, you have a car, or you have 2 cars with your wife, your children. It will be sad for you to just, and this is all these first world countries, bro, as long as you can pay their rent, look, no one is going to bother you, man. So be wise. You get me? And continue to be well, though. Today, this is just we talking about understanding legal status. So I didn't dive in too deep, but continue to be well, though. I'll see you around.